Good Monday evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of On the Capo Stand. I am your host for this evening, Ahmed Salim, along with the dynamic trio with me here, John, Misael, and David. Gentlemen, how are you all doing this wonderful, fabulous soccer field Monday?
Very tired.
Yeah.
Very busy weekend.
Yeah.
That's how you know. That's how you know. Well, just as a quick reminder to everybody, we are on pretty much every platform that you can think of, social media wise. We are on Instagram, we are on X, we are on Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Blue Sky, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. All of them we can be found as On the Capo Stand. We are also on YouTube as David's Channel 76. So please give us a subscribe, like, and help spread the word. So uh, we can just jump right in on to our very first topic for the evening, uh, OCB, our OCB minute. So OCB right now is in third place with 43 points. Um, the last two games since we last spoke, they won against Crown Legacy. They won 4-1. And then this very past Sunday against the New England Revolution, won 2-0. So, gentlemen, let's hear your thoughts because I know, David, were you at both of the games? No, I'm sorry. John was, I know.
Yes, I was at the two most recent home games. The Crown Legacy one, I think was away. They had an away game last week, but yeah, it was me and my family and our friend Tom from England, friend of the show, and my dad was in town for the weekend as well. We all went to the Orlando City B match. Boys looked tough. Had a little bit of a rotated lineup because of the international break, but took a 2-0 halftime lead into the or 2-0 lead into the half and didn't let it up. And Jack Lynn, I think it was a 2-0 lead. That sounds wrong. I know Jack Lynn got a breakaway goal, so good to see him. Getting some playing time in since Ramirez came through, and we signed Duncan to the extension. They look good. They look really good. Defense looks solid. Alexander Freeman, if he's not on the senior team next year, as at least a backup right back, that man's on fire right now. 3 goals in the last 2 matches, and pretty much can't put a foot wrong right now on the pitch. And the same with our 2 center backs. Both center backs I thought had a great game. They said it last show. We're going to be needing some center backs here soon in all likelihood, with Robin getting older, and you never, in my opinion, you can never have enough center backs in the backup because they can go down, yellow cards. It's a very physical position, and luckily we got 2 big physical center backs on our reserves that can I feel could step right in and take their spot without really seeing a difference, a loss in quality. You're on mute, Ahmed.
Thanks, John. I did get to watch both games. They're always amazing games, honestly. I think it's one of those things that no matter what happens with the team, I always say it's like watching college football. There's so much passion and drive there. Watching the B team, it's very refreshing, and these last 2 games are no exception to that. Anybody
Yeah, and
else?
we did. If anybody that went to the match last night that may have missed the announcement, if you went last night, it said you got for each ticket you purchased, you got a complimentary ticket to the final home game, which is actually a Monday night, next Monday night. Yeah, if you bought a ticket to the match and you went, you have a free ticket the next Monday night. I know it's a Monday night, but everybody needs to show up, show those boys the support that they deserve, because a lot of them came up from our academy and bleed the purple and gold, and we need to show them that we're appreciative of their efforts this year and send them off into the playoffs in style and go from there.
Yeah.
And to add to what John said, Freeman definitely this season, first goal, impressive. Basically sent that poor kid out for a hot dog. Uh, Last we heard, he was trying to decide between the red Gatorade and the blue Gatorade. It was impressive, and they play with their hearts out, and like John said, right now we're sitting in seventh place, I believe. At the time, it depended on some other results, but we're making playoffs. There's two more games, I believe, left. So the boys need our support. I would have loved to be there, but if you can hear the background noise, you know why. And the fact of the matter is that I'm glad that people are starting to support the boys. Oscar Pareja was there. I would have loved to approach the man. The football goals, if the football gods didn't want it that way. And also, I heard that Ramiro Enrique was present. So, once again, if you can make it to an OCB game, there's no excuses now. There's no excuses. And Monday, I hope that people go and give them the support they need because our talent pool, the boys are doing great. And you know what? We get to the playoffs. You never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Misael, anything you want to add?
Um, no, just honestly, I haven't gone to any game yet. I would like to go on Monday. Um, doubt gonna make it. Played Chicago. We moved up to third. Yeah, I just think it's looking good. Our future's looking good.
Absolutely. Hey, John, this picture is of him with Barrett, right?
Yeah, that's my son Barrett. The Williams family is an amazing family, and Mr. Williams, always says hi to us when we come up there, and show up for the matches. Says hi to David, says hi to me, says hi to Ahmed, and we showed up. Usually, we show up about 15 to 20 minutes before kick. Traffic was a little bad, so we didn't get there until the national anthem was being played. So Mr. Williams came up right at the end of the match. Talked to him a little bit, and I said, "Hey, you think Thomas would mind taking a picture with Barry?" He said, "No, of course not." Followed him down there, and Barrett was anybody that has a toddler knows the hyperventilating giggle when they get overly excited. That was Barrett, and if you zoom into the Thomas's chest there, Barrett's like touching him, like, "Is this real?" And that was a genuine smile too. That wasn't me telling him to say cheese. That was his genuine smile, and he couldn't stop talking about it. And Thomas has a fan for life now because of that, because Barrett still talks about it. And we could never figure out, so our friend Tom that I referred to could never figure out why he kept calling him Thomas, because Barrett doesn't really watch Thomas the Tank Engine. We don't really know anybody else named Thomas. And then after the match on Sunday, it hit me. I'm like, you know why he calls Tom Thomas? I'm pretty sure it's because of Thomas Williams. If you guys remember the match before, Thomas Williams came up and gave him a high five and made my son's night. And then, obviously the picture made his night and probably made his week. Next to his grandfather coming and visiting. But he's hasn't stopped talking about it anytime we bring up Orlando City or Orlando City B, because he still doesn't understand the difference between the two. He just sees the badge and knows he loves it. And
as we all should. We all should.
So he had a blast. He always has a blast. And for anybody that's on the fence of going, if you just love soccer, Orlando City B is the matches to go to. That doesn't have the hype and the dramatics of an Orlando City match and all the loud music. There's still music there, but loud music, big, all the stuff that surrounds professional sports in the U.S. anymore. This is just more pure, old fashioned going to the pitch and watching a soccer match. Tom loved it. Tom's like, dude, I could sit here all day watching this and with a beer in my hand, which, it's kind of the atmosphere. It's not as intense. It's you're there to watch soccer, and that's what you're there for. You're not there to do anything else. So it's a really, really good time to. I mean, you can easily hear the players talking to each other on the pitch. You feel the concussion anytime anybody cracks a shot. It's a really good experience if you really love to watch soccer and just pure soccer. And I can't talk enough about it. We went to nearly every home match this year. I think we missed a couple, but nearly every home match we've went to this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree more. I was saying as I was watching it from home, you hear the reaction from the crowds. It's unlike even at the stadium. It's so cool because there's just a much deeper level of connection, I feel. All right. So moving on. So the other um wonderful news we have is around the Pride, who have officially clinched the playoffs. They are sitting atop first place on the standings. Their record right now is 13-0-5 with 44 points. This is the first time they've clinched those playoffs since 2017. Since 2017, um, they've already set records for most points in a season, total wins and clean sheets. And there's still eight regular season matches to go. So very exciting news for them. Very happy for them. Their last two games, they had a win over Chicago and they drew against Kansas City. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the quarterfinals start November 9th and 10th, or the quarterfinals are November 9th and 10th. Do you gentlemen know if there's no skipping or anything in the playoffs, right? Everybody starts from round one. So
I
they'll go
believe
straight.
so. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, the NWSL has a NFL style choosing of the final. So
Oh,
the final's
okay.
not gonna be in Orlando. I believe is going to be in Kansas City. Has been predetermined before the
Okay.
season, which is a shame. I don't know
Yeah.
if everybody remembers that the Portland Thorns crowned themselves champions in Orlando in 2017, which is a shame because you take away the effort of finishing first, having home field advantage, and your fan base. Like in that case, the fan base didn't travel cross country to watch a game. So the NWSL, I think, poor decision on that, and I think the Pride is gonna go all the way. Overdue.
Well, I mean, it brings up another point about what at least I've been saying, David's been saying, Ahmed's been saying. And I know Miss Ao, you based on the comments you've made in the past, you agree with us. It just comes down to the um, people that run these leagues wanting to make the sport for the elite only. Exactly, money, elite only, and if they actually cared about the sport and cared about the making the sport bigger in this country, they do the right thing and have the best team in the league, the higher seeded, higher ranked, better record, most points, whatever, however you want to put it, that team that makes the finals be the hosting it.
Yeah.
And you don't, but then that takes away all the, corporate sponsors you get, all the corporations buying suites and, mass number of tickets. And I mean, just look at what the Super Bowl's turned into, and it's the same type of deal.
Yeah, Super Bowl, you gotta be rich to go there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's literally, yeah, what we're trying to avoid having happen to
Yep.
us. All right. So on to the big news. So this past Saturday, um, we welcomed into our house, into Inter Stadium, the New England Revolution. And I think this picture is how we all felt at the end of that day. Um, we
Oh, yeah.
left 3 points richer. There was a lot of exciting moments. So I'll reserve my thoughts for now, and I'll turn it over to you, gents. So, David, do you have anything you want to share right now?
Yeah, it was a great night. Obviously, seeing our friend had not, we have not seen him since last year, and it was nice to see him and share time with friends. We also ran into our friend Kevin Reese from Stevenage, another member of Orlando City, UK, that was present. Talked a little bit. The funny thing was, um, Tom's team Bolton had lost 4-0 that day, and I believe the team is Huddersfield. If I can remember correctly, they beat Stevenage. So I don't want to remember them. But anyhow, the funny thing is, he was really bummed out about that, and we were at the wall, and there was a group of fans of that club with their kid. So it was funny to like interact with them. I mean, it was all in good fun. A great night. Taking into consideration that I believe UCF, the UCF Knights football team as well, and UCF soccer was playing. So that takes away from the fact that from a full house. Also, Pride played the night before, and if you have to choose, not everybody has the time to go to all the games. It was Friday Pride, Saturday Orlando City, Sunday OCB. Um, you know, Again, as far technically, Orlando City looked very solid, very well drilled. The goal by Rafael Santos was a
Oof,
banger.
golazo.
Quite possibly, yeah, golazo. Quite possibly goal of the year contender. And
I mean, I to stop you right there, David. The MLS, because for some reason they put Messi's goal that wasn't really that great of a goal up for goal of the week. So that's
you
going to win
know,
it. Yeah.
Does
So
that
well,
surprise you, though, John?
that
Does that really
that
surprise you? Come on.
no,
villagers in Asia and Africa that support that man, that have been very sad feeding their chickens and goats for a while, they finally get to come back to MLS, because their god was missing. But it's what it is. It's what it is. So one of the things I'm gonna say, and I'll give you guys the mic. Um, Simple. When down south they want to cheer on their team, they say Messi, Messi. Here, the name in the back has never been bigger than the badge in the front. So we say Orlando City, Orlando City. So they can win all the trophies they want, they do everything, but the fact that seeing your son John this week and his little kid, and you graciously giving me some onesies for Ivy, that's all it matters,
put that
brother.
up real
That's
quick.
the
Show her
cute.
in the onesie we gave her. That
Yeah,
was yeah.
that's all it matters. So to the fans, say, listen, it was a great night. We got 3 points that we needed. I'm gonna wait later on to give you guys my impressions, because I think we had to talk about Oscar Pareja and
Absolutely.
his vision. There we go. That's what matters. That was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years into the future. That's what matters, my friends. Because there's only one Messi. But fans like our Barra Brava bear there's thousands and more to come. And there's Ivy. Look at you, Ivy. Look. Is that you? There we go.
Awesome.
So and we share that picture on social media. That's you. We should share that on social media, and with a song on the background that says from the crib to the grave, and the lyrics say, I don't care if you are never a champion, I love you no matter what. So enough said, guys.
All right, Misael, your thoughts about the game?
Going to that Santos goal, I don't know if it's like trolling, but when you go on social media, man, like when the MLS page, like a lot of people put, oh, average MLS goal, average MLS goal. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this guy's, I don't know, what that 20, 30 yards out he was. Um, but no, I'm always skeptical about those short corners. Um, I'm not really a fan of them. I was the other day. I think everybody was. Which, by the way, somehow they announced 22,000 in there.
Yep, I was going to bring that up. I laughed at
Yeah,
that.
I don't know about all that. Yeah, Hispanic Heritage Night. It was pretty cool. They had one of the announcers repeat everything in Spanish. Um, After it was
Yeah.
said in the stadium in English, that was pretty cool. And the music and the mariachi band. Um, Overall, good night. I don't want to be negative. I know, we've been on a roll, but
Do it.
Start. It's okay, man. We're going
The,
there.
the
We're going
national
there anyway.
anthem.
yeah, and not from that game, but it's just it is a bunch. It is a couple teams now in a row that
Yeah.
are below the
The
playoff
national
line.
anthem with the mariachi, top notch, bro. Probably
Amazing.
best whole
Yeah,
season.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody around me was like ecstatic about it. Like, can we have these guys here like every
Yep.
game? Um,
Well, if you guys
yeah,
remember last year, it was the same way with them because they were there
Yep.
last year for Heritage Night as well, and they brought down the house with the national anthem and the halftime show.
yeah, yeah. Overall, good performance. Why wasn't Brecalo there? Didn't he come
He
back
had
already?
just started at right back on Wednesday for this country escapes me. But he had just started and played, I think, 70 or 80 minutes at right back.
Okay.
A position
It's
he's
at
obviously not
Slovenia.
used.
It's
Slovenia, yeah.
Slovenia and
Yeah.
plus the travel, guys. That's why he didn't see
Oh, okay,
action.
the travel. Yeah, because I was gonna say didn't Facundo play as well, but I guess yeah. I mean, if the travel's different, um, the Duncan McGuire, I just I don't know him personally. Just seeing his body language, and I feel like he's taken it well that Enrique's still starting, from what it seems. Um, I don't know, something about it. I just knew he was gonna score a goal. Like the minute he came in, he's just putting his hand up. He kept asking for it. Like he's making his runs, and
I have a
yeah, he hit
You
that
know,
thing
conspiracy
so
theory,
hard.
guys.
yeah.
Say it again.
I have
No,
a
I was gonna
conspiracy
say,
theory, but
oh,
go ahead, Miss. Finish your thought, brother.
yeah.
No, that was it. Really, overall, great performance. Another clean sheet. Obviously Pedro flying in the air helped that.
I
Um, yeah,
you took my one thing I was gonna say.
yeah, flying. Yeah, that was an amazing goal. Like all that talk in the beginning about Pedro, not looking that great the beginning of the season, which I guess rightfully so. Some of the comments that were made, but man, has he turned it around along with everybody else?
There it is. I call it the flying octopus. Right there.
Amazing, man, amazing.
I I mean that save, it was just I don't even know where it came from. The ball, I don't from because I had gone back over to the seats on the other side. The ball just like shot straight away from him for a throw in. It was like he was using the force or something because that thing was just like saw him. It was like I ain't going anywhere near that goal. It just like it made like a straight beeline for the sideline. It was an amazing save. I mean, wow, that was truly.
Eh, Guys, my conspiracy theory is because I was talking to Tom as we were watching the game, and my apologies again. If you guys watch this show, you already know what's going on here. And this is what I think is happening. We extended the contract for Duncan McGuire, and I think we sell him in the winter. And Tom and I were saying that probably he's gonna go to the championship in England, most likely, or to a very very ambitious team in League One. If you follow the EFL, if you follow the EFL, you know that Wrexham and Stockport in League One are flush with American cash, and that there's a possibility that he can go there for a good price. So, because I just don't see him sitting, I just don't see him sitting in the on the bench any longer for what we're paying him. And then on top of that, people forget that Jack Lynn, Mr. MVP of MLS Next Pro and the Golden Boot, can even get minutes in the first team. We got that much talent. Let's not forget Shaq Mohammed. for the love of God, man. I mean, OCB is packed with strikers that are just waiting their opportunity. And like I said, going back to the OCB game, we're seeing people like Freeman, Wilfredo Rivera, and Williams and Shaq Mohammed, Sukada. I mean, come on, we
Which
are.
Sakata, by the way, after his 20 minutes on Saturday night, not to cut you off, David,
No, no,
after
go
his
ahead, brother.
15 or 20 minutes Saturday night, came right back Sunday and started and played
Exactly.
60 or 70 minutes.
I think again. I think Duncan is gonna be gone. Because like I said, it just unless next game we see Duncan starting and Ramiro coming in. I can see it that way. Let's not forget Ramiro has been on a little drought, and Duncan seems to have his scoring boots on. Besides, it's a short turnaround, so perhaps we're gonna see Duncan on Wednesday. But that's my theory. I think we have a club in Europe earmarked for this young man, and we're gonna be selling him in the winter. And the extension is just so we can make some money. And That said, it's a good problem to have. I don't know if you guys remember that in years past we had the one striker, and if that one striker went on a drought, we were not scoring goals. Period. So it's good to have. We have some comments, guys.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Serge Nash says, good evening. Great 3 points with complete control. Love it. He says 20 shots will get you 3 points. It's
Definitely.
taking those shots for sure, my friend.
Here's one thing that I wanted to bring up that David, that kind of sparked in my mind. It's been burning in my mind. What, just kind of putting a different scenario in there, not to go off topic from the match on Sunday, but I'm sure a lot of people are also thinking it. What are we doing with Muriel in the off season? Are we just going to buy his contract out and say we'll sign another DP?
Why'd you have to go there, John? That's
I know. I hope so.
Yeah, because I mean, you watch the guy in warm-ups, and the guy doesn't try. Going back to Muriel, he gets on the field, and it's funny. We laugh the entire time he's on the field. He did with Duncan's goal. He did make a good. Had a good pass. Yeah, I mean that's another number 9 that's turned sour under Poppy for whatever reason.
Listen, I was told from good sources this was Pareja's idea. If you worked in hiring people, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I just I think the fan base has given up on Muriel. I think he's a fantastic candidate for us to buy him out, or perhaps to trade him to another MLS team that perhaps can get some mileage out of the guy. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I heard what a lot of the Colombians were saying. The guy played in Europe, played in the national team. The guy scored a ton of goals. Don't know what's happening. System, weather, food, whatever it is, not gelling. And if you saw the shots that he took last Saturday, I'm sorry. He has to go. To me, this fan base has given up on him. And if the people that are supposed to cheer you on to victory are saying, "Nah, ain't happening," guys, let's just thank him. He's just like Pato. Pato came here and barely
Pato had
played.
injuries, though. I mean, Pato showed signs, and he just couldn't stay healthy. That's different. Muriel's just, to me, is just a lack of intensity and a lack of want to try, of hustle, if you will. And he's just not. He doesn't have it.
Pato made up for it in the Open Cup run, though.
Yes, that's what I mean.
He came through. Yeah, he came through big time on that Open Cup run.
Yeah. He showed that he still had something in the tank and was still willing to try up to the point of getting injured, which is all you can ask for a player.
He did a lot of things in that run that don't show on paper.
Mm-hmm.
The Muriel, I saw Muriel, I forgot who it was on the left. He seems to even have trouble getting like getting to the box at the right time. It's like they were waiting for him, like waiting. And I mean, we can't sit there and you can't hold the ball forever. I don't know if it's I don't know. It's so weird though, like what's going on with him, because the potential is there. Like I mean, like we said, the guy. I mean, the guy has played several places overseas. I don't understand. I think sometimes he gets too fancy too, or tries to get too fancy, and he needs to like simplify it. I don't know if they're like
I
afraid to
agree.
tell him to simplify it or something. I don't know.
But
Then
between
again,
him and Lodero, the past off-season signings were not good in my opinion. Because Lodero, yeah, he got the assist with Duncan, but you would hope a
Lo, they're
professional.
as good as gone, brother. You
Yeah,
can get the same type of production from Wilfredo Rivera for a fraction of the cost.
I agree.
Facts.
Well,
We are paying
you got to
him
think too. Rivera can play multiple positions too, David. If something, God forbid, happens to Enrique, that's a life
seven,
for life right
10.
there.
He can play the 7. He can play the 10,
He
a
can play the
6 on a
9.
pinch. I
Yeah.
mean,
He can play
the
the 9
fact is,
too.
I
The
think.
OCB's
Go
been
ahead,
playing
brother.
him at the 9 a lot recently to start matches. He's been playing the
Yeah.
9 a lot and had Shaq and Sukata out wide.
But let me ask you
Listen,
though,
go ahead, brother.
do you think that the first team wants to hold on to them, or do you think this we're more interested in selling the OCB talent?
I gotta tell you, one of the things that upsets me the most is that I think that a lot of the guys that we have are beyond this league. Yeah, we sent Jacqueline to San Antonio in USL, Wilfredo to Indy 11 in USL, and they have fantastic runs. Luca Petrasso, the man that nobody's talking about, went to third division in Italy and came back an attacking threat and with speed and put on some muscle. Nobody's talking about that.
I'll be
I
He
think,
looks
honest.
very good.
Sorry,
yeah, Petrasso
I'll be.
looking very. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No. I was gonna finish with this. Is the fact is that I think it's time for us to exploit our contacts. We're making connections with Brazilian and Portuguese teams. Let's send our boys on loan. Let's send our boys to England. League One, League Two is better than USL, but definitely better than MLS Next.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Messiah? We can do that, and then we just comments just blew up, so we can go through those once you're.
No, I was just gonna say that me personally, when I saw Santos in the lineup, I was thinking Petrasso. Like, why not try Petrasso? Because the way Santos has been playing, obviously after the goal, proved me wrong. Um, but
And
yeah,
it may have been his
that's
best
what I was
match of
thinking.
the.
Petrasso.
Yeah, it may have been Santos's best match, even without the goal. May have been his best match of the year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go ahead and get these comments. Victor Rosa said I could be wrong, but I heard it would be around 12 million to buy him out. Talking about Muriel, and that ain't happening. Serge Nash said Muriel is great on EA Sports, though. Highest rated player on the team, according
Yeah,
to
he
EA.
is.
Carlos Perez, what a turnaround to finish up the last stretch of the season. Keep scoring multiple goals. I keep saying that goal differential was key to playoffs.
Yep.
Ray Widener, my dad, said I was so happy to see Muriel and Ladero on the bench. OC looked very good with them on the bench. Victor Rosa said it was Sukata waiting to pass him the ball.
There it is. Yeah.
Serge Nash says Muriel looked 10 to 15 pounds lighter. I'm guessing that's when he played in Europe. Carlos Perez said Muriel might be having the same mindset as Gonzalo Higuain. That's completely agree with that. It seems like he's taking this as a early retirement vacation. And Tour Rep 1 says, I'm late, but I'm here.
So
I mean,
we're about
maybe Muriel is being very professional, but I feel like he's taking it. He seems like he's taking it very, very well to get only 10 minutes
yeah.
every
I mean,
night.
wouldn't you if you were making a couple $1 million?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Like that's on
It's
you
that
if you want to pay me to
it's
sit
that
around.
that backup quarterback job that they say you
Yeah.
hold the clipboard and you get paid very well. Yeah, I guess. Sad.
Yeah, we are right now 16 points. Nope.
We can't give like a James or something $4 million.
Yeah, I mean Saturday overall was a really good night for us. Jumped 2 teams to get up to 5th place,
Yeah.
and we're only 3 points behind New York Red Bulls. So Wednesday is a huge match because I don't believe New York plays, because we do have a game in hand, and I think every match from here on out's a Saturday match. Could be
So
wrong about that.
so here's the thing though. Saturday was a great match. We played well. I'm not going to say we played amazing, right? We
Yeah,
had some great plays, we had some great saves. It was exciting, good soccer. It wasn't winning playoff soccer, right? Like if this was a playoff game, different story. But we should have won that game.
yeah,
Like when we talked about it this last time, we were like, this is a game we should win. So I'm glad we did. But if you look at the next few games that we have Charlotte, which is in 7th, not that far away from us, right? Charlotte would love to ruin our parade as they have in the past, right?
Yeah,
Then we go against Columbus,
at their
who,
house.
who've clinched, right? And they would definitely love to rain on our parade. And then I think the rest of the games we have, hold on, I had it
Or
up
they
here.
or they clinch and they want to take it easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think they
We
probably
played
will clinch.
Columbus, then we played Dallas, Philly, and Cincinnati. Right? So two of those so Columbus is above us. I don't know where Dallas is. Philadelphia is below us, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah,
then
Dallas is not
Cincinnati.
making playoffs at the moment.
Yeah,
They're below
Philadelphia's
the below
11th.
12.
Yeah,
Philadelphia's
but you know
11th.
what? They have nothing to lose. They would love to go out with a win against us. So I don't know. I can't. I mean, I'm happy to see how we're playing, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, gents, on these
I mean we
games?
do finish
Not that
up
we're
with Atlanta too, who's probably going to be a decision day.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
right. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I didn't see the rest of those. Sorry, I didn't have. Yep, we have one
yeah.
more.
Atlanta's our last match, and their season may come down to a decision day. Against us. So
Yeah.
I mean, no, I agree with you. I thought the same thing. After the match, we were supposed to win that game. A good team's supposed to win that game. You're ahead of them on the table by a decent amount. You're supposed to win that match. Now, Wednesday is one that we're playing a team that has been ahead of us for the majority of the year.
We gotta make a statement Wednesday, John.
Yeah. And, every match, to take what Ahmed said this whole year and most of
And
last year,
year.
every match, this is our playoffs right now. We could theoretically, like I said, Wednesday, I'm looking right now. Yeah, we could theoretically Wednesday move into a tie on points for 4th place. You asked me that a month ago, I would have said you're crazy. But we'll take it. And it's like,
Red Bulls don't play on Wednesday.
yeah. So we have to win Wednesday. We have to come away with a result on Saturday against Columbus. A result against Columbus is what is great. And Columbus Columbus has been playing great soccer. They did just draw Cincinnati last week.
Mm-hmm.
0-0.
Yeah.
But like Miss Sayel said, maybe since they've already clinched, they'll rest some people, get some people healthy. They love resting Cucho Hernandez when they can, but that just gives them firepower on the bench to come back and if they're down a goal to get rested Cucho in there against a bunch of tired legs, which would be disastrous for us, I think.
Yeah. I definitely think the next few games are a definite test for us, to at least build that level of comfort to be like, all right, I'm feeling confident. How these next few games go is going to go a long way for that. With that said, I did forget to mention one thing. So with this last win, Oscar Pareja tied with Dominic Kinnear for the
Yes.
fifth most regular season wins by a head coach in MLS history. And I heard it on um, the interviews. It was the 150th appearance for Pedro Galese.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's the only one of three, I think, people to actually accomplish that. So I thought that was great as well. Yeah, it's
Poppy
anything
won
else you
himself
gents
another
want to share?
contract.
What's that?
Poppy won himself another contract.
Listen, um, I nothing would surprise me at all anymore.
I mean, and the thing is like, I mean, you guys know it is. We wouldn't be so cynical about his contract, or, you know, I think it's an option for next year, picking up his option for next year, if they wouldn't start out so slow.
Yeah.
I mean, just think where we would be if we just won half those matches that we lost at the beginning of the year,
I could tell you where we'd be. We'd have an
Contending for
X next to our name on the standings chart.
and we'd be in second or third place. Yeah,
contending for Shield.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like the team hasn't changed. We didn't make any drastic movements over the summer. We didn't really lose anybody from last year. So why, I joke, but I honestly think that it has to do with the amount of rondos they do in training. I mean, honestly, when you saw videos of training other than doing the one-touch shot drill that everybody does from the time they're 8 or 9 years old, what else do you see them doing in training other than rondos? And I know it's, for advertising and looks cool when somebody gets nutmegged and everything, but
Yeah.
like, what is, rondos are cool for when you're 9 and 10 years old learning how to, pass it in tight spaces, but these are professional soccer players we're talking here, and I'm not trying to sound like I know better than Poppy does when it comes to training, but I honestly, I would love to win that player of the day promotion they have going on, just so I can see what they actually do in training.
Like,
what stuck with me a little while back was when Yaga Makis left Atlanta and went to Cruz Azul. He had an interview, and he said, when they asked him about the MLS, is that the whole playoff thing, he says he feels like a lot of players don't care. I guess meaning, which I wondered that too after he said that, I wondered, does he mean kind of like cruise and then turn it on later on? I don't know if that's like, I'm hoping that's not what our team is doing, or our
Well,
players'
I mean,
mentality.
I find it interesting because in Mexico they have apertura and clausura, which basically they split the season in half. There's a champion in the first half. They take a break in between. There's a champion in the second half, and those two champions go to be the
Mhm.
season champion. And if we did that in MLS, Orlando City would have had won trophies left and right. That said, in Israel, at the end of the season, the top teams go for playoffs for championship. The bottom teams go for playoffs for. So there's a lot of ways of doing it. I'm not gonna take the word of a guy that couldn't make it in MLS, a guy that never made playoffs with a team that is trash, a rival. We don't even care. So
Yeah.
he's just sour grapes because the playoff system that we have, fair or unfair, gives you hopes. I think it's been 10 years since the last time the team that won the supporter shield actually won the trophy. Last year, the team that finished third beat the team that finished second, finished first, and then finished first on the opposing conference, and won the championship. That's the Columbus Crew. So does it matter? I think the fact that we don't have relegation takes away the urgency to win. That I give him, because when I was just a MLS fan by itself, I never understood the logic of the pro relegation. I have I had lived it. I had lived seeing my team almost being relegated. I have seen my team being promoted. I have seen my team survive a season. I have, like it does add flavor to the idea of moving forward. I have said that if MLS wants to cheat, make MLS 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. Keep it closed system within your umbrella, whatever. But we do need promotion relegation in this country. So
The
to go
American
back,
fan, though, would never be interested in that.
you
That's the
know,
problem. You got to think about how the American fan is. The casual fan, or even I'll say just your average fan of a soccer team. If Orlando City dropped down to the
that's
second
true.
division,
Yeah,
nobody's
that's
even
true,
going to
John.
care
That's
Yeah.
true. But
because people aren't raised with it.
if we make it where surviving matters, I think people will support it. Yeah, if the thing, but again, we can't. I believe that we can learn, because if American fans can get into the relegation of a team in a city they never been to, I mean, there's diehard EPL fans that will never go to England, will never step into a stadium there, and that's why people like Tom and Kevin matter to me, because this I got Tom's team, Bolton, is a founder of the FA. Founder of the FA, has won the FA a couple of times, has been to the EPL, has been to Championship, League One, League Two, has been up and down the football league. And he chooses to support Orlando City, finds entertainment, finds value, to jump on an airplane, cross the Atlantic, and come in and watch some games with us. And to me, that's what that's that, and to see our friends from the UK coming to our games, and every friend that I have taken from the UK to a game, and there's been many that have been the first time going to a MLS team. They tell me all the same. You have value. It's entertaining. It's fun. I want to come back. And to me, that speaks volumes of the quality of football that we have. Can be improved, of course. Is it the best football in the world? Absolutely not. But I don't think that we have to be ashamed of our football. I went to the game. I saw Ahmed. I saw John. We were there with Tom. We had a great time. We had a lot of fun. I had some fantastic tacos. I, you know, I quenched my thirst with delicious soda and a few beers. John impressed me with his grilling, and at the end of the day, I went home. I went home satisfied, and to me, that's what matters. We won, and that was fantastic. So I think again, the pro relegation is a topic, my guys, that we probably could be here 2 hours on it. But
Absolutely.
but that said, I think the quality of football keeps getting better. And I mean, if you ask players that came to Orlando and didn't amount to much, they will say opposite. Justin Marin, who's gonna be here on Wednesday, I believe. If you ask him about his time here, he has nothing to say. But one thing, and I'm on record, I didn't go on Twitter to tell him what I thought about him. I told him to his face in 2019, and it's a shame that video has been lost to the ages. But I told him that I guarantee that man went into his locker room and cried and cried and cried, and the team chaplain had to come and give him hugs, because I told him, I said, "You're a piece of trash, man, for what you did and what you said." And I'm telling you, Justin Marin is probably thinking, God, I'm not gonna be there on Wednesday because I gotta work. I gotta be out of town. Because
I hope he's warming up on the bench. I
if I
hope he doesn't
listen,
start.
if I catch him, I'm gonna let him know what time it is again,
Well, you
and
can
you
come
guys
into
know what
the
time it
supporter
is.
section again because you saw where we sit and you heard me on Saturday. You can give him a piece of your mind right there. But no, the last thing I'll say about the promotion relegation thing is you've already seen it happen with Chelsea. When Chelsea was doing good, 5-10 years ago, there was Chelsea. You couldn't walk anywhere, to any theme park without seeing Chelsea jerseys. You walk into the theme parks now, and it's all Messi and Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool. Well, when Man City gets the hammer thrown down on them for breaking the financial fair play rules hundreds and hundreds of times, and they drop down to League Two, where's those Man City fans are going to be not all of them. There are some true Man City fans that will stick by them and follow them that live here, but the vast majority of them are only there as glory hunters and bandwagon riders. They're not there
Listen,
as true fans. Same with
Manchester.
Liverpool, same with Arsenal. You know, when their time comes to, it comes in waves. Arsenal fans can attest to it. You guys had great years when Thierry Henry was there. Went down a little bit. Now they're back up on the rise. Liverpool, same thing. Was really good back in the day. Kind of went down a little bit. Now they're back up on the, they've been back up on the rise in the Premier League. That's just the way the American fan is. Look at baseball stadiums across America. Look at American football stadiums across America. The teams that do good sell out every weekend. The teams that don't make the playoffs or don't do well, they're lucky to get a half full stadium. And that's every sport across America. So if you get it where you have Orlando, I'm just going to use our example. You have Orlando City that gets 22,000 fans on a rainy day in the middle of September for a fairly important match in late stage in the season. But then next year we get dropped down. God forbid, if promotion and relegation was here, that they'd be lucky to see that stadium go half full.
Absolutely.
Ever.
And that wouldn't last. They wouldn't
Exactly.
They wouldn't let that. Their pockets would hurt too much without the support for those lower
Manchester
leagues.
City
Because
before being bought and being created into this machine, they were a perennial League One team, third division of English football for ages. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's two clubs that are coming to be the next darlings of the APL: Wrexham and Stockport. Stockport, to me, is shocking because Stockport had been in the National League for ages, and they got bought, money injected into it. Next thing you know, they are on top of the league in League One. Them and Wrexham favors to get promoted to the championship. Once you get to the championship, that's when the money starts rolling. And, again, Wrexham, nobody knew who they were. 16 years in the National League. Then comes some Hollywood faces by the club. They create the show that is super popular on Hulu. And before you even know it, they're destroying the competition. So that's what matters to a lot of people. I personally, I have told you guys, I follow the clubs that I followed, because members of that fan base invited me in, and and those clubs have representation in the Orlando City fan base, and again, I tried to follow our EPL team. It was my passion, my love wasn't there. Little Stevenage in third division is the one that gets me pumped up. Won 3-0 against Barnsley. Everybody remembers Barnsley because that's where Daryl Dike went on loan a few years back, and it's exciting. Going back to Orlando City, I think the reality is that for a lot of people, winning it matters. The wet blanket, happy clapper, tailgate, cornhole champions. They're always gonna be there. Telling me that we gotta support the team. People are gonna be like, "Oh, you want Oscar Pareja fired? I hope you get fired. I hope your kids die." These are things that adults actually took time to tell me over the phone. And if you go watch this video before we finish, it probably already has like 77 thumbs down on YouTube because people think that attacking me, David Valentin, a fat middle-aged man. With 3 kids and a wife and no mortgage, thank God, because I make more money than them, and they hate to know that. The fact is that they get mad. They get mad at this podcast because we don't sell our souls for nothing. Trust me, Oscar Pareja will never be. Though I gotta tell you the truth, my goal for 2025 is to have the one and only Dom Dwyer on this show, and by God, I'm gonna make it happen. And we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna ask the questions that you want to ask him, because the fact
I already got my
is,
questions answered. I'm good.
yeah. Oh, and I'm gonna say something. Thank you. I'm gonna say something. We reposted on Instagram a picture by the club, and the club liked it. So a moment of
Oh,
silence for that individual that Jackie Maynard is gonna fire because
It's probably
you
already happened. I told you last night when
already
we
have.
saw that
You
it
know,
was
she
on
doesn't
our
like me
calendar
in
for probably
any
about 10 a.m.
project
this morning.
that I'm in. I was shocked. I was shocked that the club actually liked it. So probably somebody, probably a new intern that don't
it
know
was an honest
who we
mistake.
are.
Yeah, it was an honest
Yeah.
mistake. Probably their first day, and they were like, "Oh no."
Guys, as we're wrapping it up, I want to talk this subject because I think it's important for our fan base. Um, I saw that Oscar Pareja was at the OCB game. And I have to say, and we have said it on the show that Oscar Pareja, I think Oscar Pareja is a fantastic person. Anybody that has talked to him, I never have any ill will, any ill feelings towards him. I saw him at the Pareja perspective. I bought into his program, into his idea. Obviously, the results did not translate, and by late May, I had and said, okay, I think it's probably time to move on. And here we are again, as in every year, with Oscar Pareja dragging this corpse that we call Orlando City to the finish line. I personally, I'm giving up on this Papi in Papi out because it doesn't make any sense. It's impossible. Oscar Pareja is the paranoid schizophrenic in a bus screaming that if we don't put tinfoil hats, the 5G is gonna fry our brains. I'm serious. I'm serious, guys. I just want to get your perspectives on this situation because I can make sense out of it. I'm in Oscar Pareja's bus, no brakes, downhill, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I'm telling you, I'm gonna embrace the madness because in my 30 years of watching this sport, what's happening with Oscar Pareja, what's happening with Orlando City makes absolutely no sense. And just before I finish, if you think it's just exclusive, Steven, same situation. Last week I was like, no, fire this guy. This guy's not it. Nice guy, but and what he did, 3-0 clean sheet at home, and I had to swallow those words. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to hear what you guys have to say about Oscar Pareja. At this point, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and I'm gonna be the last one in the stadium when we finish the season to turn the lights off. And Oscar Pareja, I don't even have the face, guys, to go to next year's event and face that. I just don't have the face. And if we end up lifting silverware, I'm probably gonna have to move, go into the witness protection program or something because people are gonna murder me on social media. Go ahead.
Well, your camera already looks like you're in witness protection, as dark as your face is today with no light.
Ah, man. I
For
don't
those
know.
that are listening, David's light isn't perfect today, so his face is kind of blacked out due to the shadow.
I mean, David, it's just like it's it's like doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's the same thing
The definition
all
of madness, yeah.
and it's just like that's the part that's frustrating. Nobody's saying, like, to your point, he's not a great, that he's not a great guy. He is a great guy. I've had the opportunity to speak to him, but we keep doing the same thing, and then we're wondering at the end of this. What the problem is right now, you have people saying, "See, I told you so." Right? And they're like, "I told you so. I told you everything would be okay." The difference is, what is your expectation? What is it that you want? You know, our desire should be every time we go out there to get better. Every year we as a team play to play better, to accomplish more, to push that expectation to the next level, right? It, that's how you win. We're trying to win. It's like, okay, fine, you win the US Open Cup one time, then you win another cup. That's why we do what we do. We don't do it. I mean, we could do it just for fun, but for that, I'd rather just watch OCB play if it's all just for fun, you know. But we're talking about winning for a purpose, and when we don't win, it's like we have to change something. Something needs to change because it keeps happening the same way. Sorry, we start slow. Everybody's like, give it time. It's okay, and then we were in the same. Actually, we weren't. We were in a better position last year at this point.
Yep.
We
Hmm.
were in the same position 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 years ago, towards the end, we were in a position like this. Last year, it was great, right?
Actually, I mean, we were worse in 2022 because we went down to the wire decision day, and we just got lucky that Columbus Crew was a team that we had to beat, and we were playing. Had they been playing somewhere else and they won, we would have, it would have been disastrous for us.
I
So
think it
yeah,
came
man.
down
But
to decision
you know,
decision day for him. I think it came down to 2 or 3 seasons in a row. We came all the way down to decision day.
Montreal, remember with the goal for from Sebas Mendes. Sebas Mendes scored one goal in his whole time in Orlando, and what a way to do it. Because
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, Tetra Kindele used to have those Twitter Spaces, and people
Hmm.
were asking questions, and he said it. He's like, "Look, we have seen the guy in practice try the same shot over and over. In 3 4 years, he never got it in. And if you look, and he said when it was happening, we were trying to tell him no. And if you look at the pictures, when he's about to kick it, you see Daryl DK and Tetra going no, and the goal went in, and they lost it. Tesha was like, "Look, we lost it. If the an ambulance would have been, it would have was all of us and taken us to a psych ward. We just couldn't believe it. But we say it all the time: football is cruel and unpredictable, and it's not a catchy slogan. It's a fact. It's a
What's like
fact, my
the
friends.
Cartagena goal against Nashville? He tried virtually the
There you
same
go.
exact scenario on Saturday and didn't even come close to putting it on frame. But
To
you can
me,
go ahead, Misael, and
Absolutely.
then I'll wrap the question up.
yeah, to me, my opinion is Eastern Conference Finals or bust. We've made it to the first round. We made it to the second round. I think the people here, even though I'm a firm believer, we do need the casual fan to fill the stadium. But I think those casual fans at the same time are like the loudest. And I think it's something where we start off slow. So when they see us get hot, it's like they're just like convinced, like, okay, well, oh, we're gonna make the playoffs, and like, look, we're playing good now. And I don't think that they're putting it all together where we've seen this movie already. You know what I'm saying? And you have to get to the point where you want more, you expect more. Um Doing the same thing, I mean, like you said, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. I mean, that's insanity. It's I don't know. I'm tired of I'm the American sport guy where you have to advance, or I mean anywhere else the coach goes. And it's not like I want to keep harping on this like Papi out, Papi out, Papi out, but anywhere else he would have been gone by now. And it's just like here. I do also think it is an Orlando thing because when basketball Orlando Magic, it was the same way for a while, where the fan base is content with making the playoffs. And actually, with the Orlando Magic not making it to the playoffs for so long, that when they finally made it, it feels like they're content with it. And I don't know.
Hmm.
I just I get frustrated seeing people that came at the same time as us or after us already win it, or at least make it to the
Thank you, brother.
or at least make it to conference finals. I mean, win the Shield, or always like in the top three. Like, I don't know, somehow like NYCFC, they're always like in the top three, top five every single season, and it makes me sick. It's like, how?
I
Like,
mean,
I look at their team
Cincinnati,
and I'm
for
like,
crying out
how?
loud.
Cincinnati bad for so long, and then all of a sudden they're top three like every season now.
What changed?
They changed the manager.
Coach.
He's the manager. Yeah, yeah.
But
It's
you know what it is? You have to look at it from different, because people would hear us say that they'd be like, "All right, you guys don't like Oscar." It's not about not
no, it's
liking
not about
Oscar.
that. No, it's
It's
not about
about
that.
changing. You have to change something, and it's not. I don't think. It's not even. It's not a. It's about making those changes. If he had made those changes, and if he had adjusted things, then that's a valid argument. But we're not changing anything. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I don't hate the guy. I mean, the guy came here. He changed the culture. Um, we came into a winning culture.
Yeah.
It just got stagnant. It's just like he got there, and maybe it tired him out. It was a lot of work from where we came from.
Yeah.
Um, but I
I
just
mean,
don't think
he
that
was
he's.
handed a pile of trash. Let's be
Hmm.
honest, guys.
Hmm.
and
And he
Nani.
polished it.
Yeah, and Nani.
But seeing his history, with Dallas and stuff like that, he's very good at developing players. But I just think that it just gets to the point where he just hits that wall, he hits that
But
ceiling, and I just don't think he's the guy to get us over the
that
hump.
hasn't happened here either. I mean, you see Dallas and they were producing talent from their academy, talent from their second team. They were getting first team appearances,
Hmm.
you know, pretty consistently. And now, I mean, who have we had come from our second team or academy since he's been here?
Yeah, not
DK
much, and
The
drafted
then
in the
not
first
much.
year.
Yeah,
Granados is the only guy that was good. Came out of
But they
our
sold him
academy. The
off.
first thing we did is we sold him.
Yeah.
He had a whopping 5 minutes in the first team.
Yeah. And that was at the end of the very end of a match that
Right.
needed
So
him because of the international break.
right. I mean,
I think sometimes too, some of that has to do with how bad that we start. That I mean, he's got to save his job too. So I think sometimes maybe he gets himself into the hole where maybe he thinks, I don't know, my opinion, maybe he thinks like, okay, no time to fool around and bring up some young guy or something. Let me keep going with this lineup that maybe seems to be somewhat working so I can keep, getting a new contract or something. I mean, I don't know what the man thinks. I think it gets to the point where he hits the wall where, okay, I got to do something because my job's on the line. I mean, next season is what, his second or picking it up, the option?
it's his second year of contract, and then after that is options.
Okay.
Okay.
And the thing about it too, I feel like is we there's no the way we're playing right now. There's no reason we can't be playing like this all the time, right?
Correct.
But we get a false sense of security because of who we've been playing,
Yep.
right? It's been a few games that we're feeling we're on a high, but we're not paying attention to that fact. And then we come up against a team that actually challenges us, and then we're like, oh, that was just one bad game. Yeah, because it was against the team that actually worked us,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we got 2 games back to back this week that'll show where we're at.
Yeah, this is, and that's why I said I think the next few days, considering the time span and the teams, this is a test. This is a
Yep.
big test with a lot
No,
of
for sure.
implications. So
But my whole thing on the Poppy scenario, everybody knows I don't agree with the style of play he resorts to. In fact, last year, I'll keep bringing it up. I called it on the podcast when we talked about it's right around this time of year, just after Leagues Cup. We said, what are we looking for in the playoffs? What are we afraid of? And I said, I'm afraid we're going to be in a do or die game against Nashville or whoever we face in the second round. And we're going to sit back and defend and try to hit on the counter. Well, what do we do against Columbus? Yes, you can't control what players do. Schlegel makes a dumb tackle in the first half and then gets on a second yellow and later on in the second half.
And it was all
Goes
over.
into extra time. Yes, but my main fear was us sitting back, and that's what we weren't on the front foot of that game ever.
And we were minutes away from going to PKs.
Yeah.
If you remember, my friend.
Really, really quick on that. Don't want you to cut you off. That night, do you think it was like blaming him for not starting Antonio Carlos?
No, because
Remember
we hadn't
Antonio
started
Carlos
No,
came in
Carlos at
Antonio
all.
Carlos was on the way out.
Yeah,
But
we hadn't been that.
but
If you remember, Carlos had
didn't he sub in that game and like played very good. I get Poppy likes to do the don't fix what's not broken type of thing.
Hmm.
And since Schlegel was playing pretty decent that whole streak, that's who he went with. But I believe that night, Antonio Carlos subbed in and he played pretty good, and I don't
Well,
think he
yeah,
could have
well,
made that dumb mistake.
Yeah, it
we
was
should have
after Schlegel
sub.
came off that he subbed in because we needed that second
Yeah.
center back in there.
We should have subbed him in, but Antonio Carlos was already returning to Brazil, and it's tradition in football. You don't play a guy that perhaps blows his knee, and now
Yeah.
he doesn't have a job. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
You're right.
one of the reasons why the thing with
Gonzalez.
Gaston Gonzalez was such mind blowing. The guy should have been off that pitch. They were winning. There was no reason for him to be there. But they left him, and you saw what happened.
But anyway, with
Oh,
Poppy,
good
like
game,
everybody
John.
knows, I don't agree with it. In sports, there's a saying: there's only one thing that's undefeated, and that's time. For those people that always say, has said the last 2 years, especially this year, I'll give it time, give it time. Time is undefeated. Eventually, time will run out on the give it time people. Where
Mhm.
it gets, and this year it almost did. We are very lucky that the East isn't as strong as it was last year, because the East this year, maybe the East is beating each other up, but the points I feel aren't as spread out as they were last year from playoffs to the bottom. So it's gonna, and like, give it time, give it time. I could understand if we brought in five of our 11, five of our 11 starters were brand new players. We had one position that needed filled coming into this year, and that was the attacking midfielder. And a lot of people, after the first month or two of the season, were saying, why are we starting Lodero? Why aren't we starting Ojeda? The team looks completely better on the attack with Ojeda in there. How many months did it take Poppy and his staff to see, oh, Ojeda might actually be the better option for this team than a Lodero? Took
Yeah, he's the
them
only one that didn't see it.
3-4 months. Everybody else is saying, except for those people that don't like Ojeda, which you're entitled to your own opinion. But it took him until June or July to see it and start playing Ojeda and starting him and giving him the minutes he deserves. So, I mean, like I said earlier, if they just need to do better at the beginning of the season, whatever they're doing in training, preseason training for the 2 weeks to a month that they're in preseason training hasn't worked the last 2 years. They need to change something up. I thought they changed it up this year by playing, I can't recall who it was, the Brazilian team in the preseason.
Flamengo.
Oh,
Flamengo, yeah.
Flamengo.
And they look good against Flamengo. If you go from when they played Flamengo to the first official match, or even the Champions League match against Calvary. I said that wrong, I think. But you guys know who I'm talking about. They two completely different teams. We didn't score against a lower division side until the second half. We didn't look good in the attack. Against Flamengo, a team that has a higher payroll, should be a little more skilled than us. We went toe to toe with them, and yes, they controlled the game more, but they're a better team. They should. But when we went on the attack, we looked promising. We looked like we were making chances, and it ended a 1-1. But then the team that comes out to begin the season, if that team would have played Flamengo, it would have been a 4-5-0 match going to Flamengo. So whatever they're doing in preseason training needs to change, because if we went last year and this year, if we would have won half the games we let slip out of our fingers, where we had the lead and it turned into a draw, or we had the lead, had a draw and it turned into a loss, if we would have just held on to those, we would be pushing for the shield right now. We would be in the second or third spot, and we wouldn't be having to have these conversations or feeling the way we feel, because we want our club to succeed. And that's the whole thing. Our support is wanting our club to succeed, our club to rise to a higher level. We're not happy with, oh, we made the playoffs, we're good. Every year we go into the season, at least I do, hoping this is our year to win a trophy that matters.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
Let me go get my coffee percolator. Hold on.
Absolutely. But also our preseason opponents have not been of quality. We have the money to put the boys on an airplane, send them to Europe, and play second, third division teams. We could
do somewhat what Miami did. As much as I hate to admit it, you don't have to do a world tour, but go down to South America, play.
No, I'm with you on that, my friend. I'm with you. I tell you what. Listen, the Tottenham's U23s play at the stadium that Stevenage has, the home of Stevenage, the Lamex Stadium, and they charge £2 for people to go and watch those games. We could do that. We could go. Like I said, we could send the boys to England. Let's do that. Send the boys to England and play some friendlies that matter. Now that we're heading out to wrap it up, and I mean, if we can, after I finish, if we can read some of the comments that we have.
Yep.
Listen, this Wednesday we're facing Charlotte, a team that with nine with 10 men, we had to come from behind. I mean, they went down a man and they were winning the game, and by a miracle of God Almighty, we tied it 2-2 at in their house. And now we pray that we actually beat these guys, and then we're gonna go to Columbus, a team that beat us 2-0 and it took us out of contention in the playoffs. To me, this week this week is gonna say who we are as a team. Then we're gonna go to Dallas. Dallas that is not making playoffs, but you know what? They're trying to claw for points, and going to Dallas has been a nightmare for us. We have fire managers after losing in Dallas. We have gone ourselves clobbered in Dallas many times by Oscar Pareja and company, and then October, which is the month. By the way, I'm disappointed that we're going this far into the regular season because the fan dollar. We are right now competing against the NFL. We're competing against college football. We're competing against other offerings in town. And this, like I said, I repeat it again, Jared. I know you're listening. The problem with this is that the fans that are not at the stadium is because they are losing faith in Orlando City is because we have to compete with other offerings in sports. And so we're gonna go to Philadelphia, a team that is playing for nothing. FC Cincinnati, God knows what's gonna happen, and then we close the season at home against Atlanta. And I would love to send them packing after all that trash talking over the years. So with that said, if we can go over the comments and
Yeah.
wrap it up, sir.
Where are we starting off? Because
I
I
got you
lost
right
it.
here. I got you.
All right.
I got you. I know
All right.
where we were. There you go.
All right. So Tourep says, did we talk about the sprint to the goal? I think Angulo should worry. I think that was definitely a very good sprint. Thoughts, gents?
Yeah, Duncan's looked faster since coming back from the national team. I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Honestly, you know what? I know we were talking about Duncan before. I really like Duncan off the bench. I feel like he brings something. Not everybody can do that when they come off the bench and really change the game. The few times when Duncan has been a sub and he's come off the bench, it's like he hits a switch and it
I was
changes
gonna,
the whole
yeah,
vibe.
I was gonna mention that earlier that because I David said it earlier and I was thinking the same thing on the night of the game where a short week and with Enrique not scoring, that most likely he would probably start Duncan. But even though it's been you know teams that below the line, I still feel like yeah we should continue going with the same lineup. This lineup's been working.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I wanted to say earlier when I said something about Duncan and his character with how he's dealing with it. Coming from somebody, I have a sister that has Down syndrome, and I believe Duncan. I don't want to make an assumption if I'm wrong. It comes from a good place. His brother, I believe, has Down syndrome. And having somebody like that in your life that's close to you, and I don't know if you guys saw it on the pitch. He's seems to be very close with his brother. Brought his
Hmm.
brother on the pitch and everything
Hmm.
Saturday. That that adds a huge scoop of character to you having to deal with that because there seems to be a decent
Hmm.
enough age gap where Duncan may have been able to at least understand a little bit of what was happening when his brother was born. So it adds a lot of character to you, and I'm sure that has something to do with how Duncan handled the fiasco that happened in the
Mhm.
preseason, and then now,
Yeah.
hey, I signed this big new contract. A lot of players be like, I should be starting, and you haven't heard anything from that. You haven't heard, he comes onto the pitch late in the
Absolutely.
matches, gives it all. He's back defending balls. He's back, tracking back, running down players, making recoveries that he shouldn't have to be making, to be quite honest, late in the
He's
match.
playing very well.
And and then he's rewarded with I mean, it was a good shot. As we're
Hmm.
teaching my son right now, you should shoot the ball low and hard, and he shot it low and hard, and it's not the keeper
Yeah.
didn't get to the ground quick enough to stop it, and he it trickled over the line. So, I mean,
Hey
he had a
guys, I
great
have to
run.
go. I have to go, but to the audience, thank you very much for watching us and listening to us this today. Wednesday, let's pack the stadium, and we're gonna see you guys next Monday to talk Orlando City. My apologies to the audience. I have to go, but thank you very much, guys. We'll see you. I'll see you. And Ray, I see your message. Thank you. It was awesome meeting you.
Yeah, it was a great meeting, man.
Have a good night,
Yeah, so
David.
Ray says, love the game Saturday. Great to meet Ahmed and David. I highly recommend an OCB game. Yeah, we had a great time. It was wonderful to meet you, Ray. Victor Rosa says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Robin is only 10 matches away from 200.
I cross-checked that. He is correct. He's at 190 matches right now.
Wow. So will that be before
Nice.
the end of the season?
That's my
It'll
brother,
be-
by the way.
Oh, it
Was
is?
that?
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, that's my brother, by the way.
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, so I based on the regular season games, it won't be. But if we depending on the playoffs.
Well, we
never know.
automatically have 2 games in the playoffs, so I believe that it'll be very close if we get to that third or advance.
Wow.
Because there's 6 matches left?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're 6
Yeah.
matches in this left in the season. So
3
if
at
we
home,
have
I
4
believe.
games, imagine that would be I'm just, you know what? I'm not even gonna go there. All
I
right.
think this last game, I think I heard that they mentioned that I think Caesar is one more yellow away from being suspended.
Yes.
That could be 2. Yellow card
Yeah,
accumulation.
I think that's
And
why
that's
they
why
subbed
he
him
came
off.
off a little bit
Yeah.
earlier than usual was they were trying to save him because he was getting very close to
Yeah,
getting
but
one.
I thought overall he did a good job because I heard that they let
Yeah.
him know in the beginning, and I think he seemed very. It was like a quiet night for him.
Yeah. And I feel like Wilder's getting close too because I think that's his third red card in 4 or third yellow card in 4 matches, I believe.
Wow.
So I think
You
he
know, it
only has
figures
1 or 2.
for the games that we're really gonna need to be firing on all cylinders, that would happen to us.
Get him against Columbus.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Serge Ness says, "Go David, Dom, Dom, Dom." To a rep says, "Oscar is like, oh, you think I'm done? Psych."
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He always finds a way at the end.
Yeah, Johnny Ridner. Hey, Johnny. He says, "Damn, I arrived late. Sup, boys." Victor says, "I've been Poppy out since last year, but I'm at the point where I think he can only work with what he has. DPs make the difference in this league, and one of DPs takes 4 months to get going." Yeah, valid point. Victor says another one, Road Pine and Muriel just sucks. Plain and simple, the Wolves need to open that wallet. Yeah, no surprise there. Question is, will they? Serge says we've reached our stalemate, and with club being profitable, no changes will happen. I think that hits the nail on the head because as long as they're making money, why change? Why if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix
classic
it.
Orlando Magic, same thing. Classic
Ray
Orlando.
says, as someone from Cincinnati, Oscar is like Marvin Lewis.
Best 8-8 coach, and literally he finished his career with Cincinnati as a head coach with a 500 record, and never Oscar's done a little bit better. He's at least won playoff games, but Marvin never won a playoff game. He was like, I think he holds the record, NFL all-time record for most playoff appearances without a win.
Wow. Serge Nash says, not starting Enrique was Poppy's fault against Columbus. And then he goes on to say, I don't want to make playoffs and then get killed in the first round. I am going to reserve my comments for that one. Victor says, the Leagues Cup gets you a CONCACAF Champions Cup berth and more money than the MLS Cup. Sounds good to me. That's a whole conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Serge says, we need to start advertising within a 1-hour drive from Orlando, nothing in Daytona for years now. That's actually a really good point, too. And then
That's
we have
pretty bad.
Victor says, can't keep paying top dollar for guys to sit on the bench. In that case, use that money on guys who are going to start and play to their worth.
Yep.
All
I mean,
Yeah,
if Enrique, I could see a situation where if Enrique keeps performing, you can't expect a striker unless he's, Cristiano Ronaldo or Louis. I hate saying it, but Luis Suarez to score every match or average a goal every 90 minutes.
Yeah,
But
Holland.
if he keeps performing to the level he has, I mean, I thought defensively he's been tracking back a lot, very well, not as to the extent Duncan does at some points, but I could see if Enrique keeps performing with his pedigree, with him being a U22 initiative signing, I could see him potentially being invested in, because this is what, his third year with us, so his contract's probably coming due here soon. The same with Arujo with his pedigree. I know they already bought him down off of the U22 designated player, I believe, or he just got too old and they bought him down off of it. But either way, I could see them investing in him since he's a younger. And then we also have, like we talked about earlier, the guys at OCB that, you know, we should invest in, that are performing out for the reserve team. And, you know, we got guys that'll be, this isn't going to be the standard. This isn't the standard in soccer where you have the same 10 of the 11 same players that you had last year starting back-to-back years. Usually, you know, it's 7 to 9, not 10 of the 11. So it's not, there's going to be some fluctuating in the roster this offseason, I'm sure, more than this past year. And they, you know, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
We do have a couple more comments that just popped up.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and read them off. Victor, have a good night, boys. Go Birds, go City. What Birds is he talking about?
Eagles.
I was
Okay.
gonna say he's an
We're
Eagles
Eagles fans.
Okay.
Yeah. He's because we're playing tonight.
Serge Nash says I was talking about last year's playoffs. And then Tour Rep once said, so I heard the Wilfs are not sports team owners, but rather investors that happen to own teams. That's usually what it is in sports in the U.S. You look at most of the Major League Baseball owners, NFL owners, NBA owners, they're all some sort of investors. Yeah, the Wilfs are real estate investors that own sports teams. They also own the Vikings.
That's what scared me when I heard about them.
Yeah, but they did. I will say they did sign. They did sign Justin Jefferson to the extension over the offseason. That gives you some hope, you know. And they have shown with Facundo, and we'll see what happens with Duncan. But with Duncan, that they're willing to open it a little bit. Now they just need to open it a little bit more for that killer designated player.
I just look at it as, I don't know how long they've owned the Vikings, but I'm 41 years old, and they've been bad my whole life.
Yeah.
Not like super terrible, you know, they made playoffs and stuff like that, but like we talking about here, where
I thought they made a Super Bowl in the 90s with Cunningham. Didn't they?
No, I don't remember.
Cunningham, Moss, and Carter. They didn't. Okay.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and it gets, like we were talking about earlier, where it gets to the point where I'm sure that fan base is probably like, okay, like first round of the playoffs, who cares? Like, you know, we need more. Like, we can't keep doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I've said it before, and I think I want to say it was the Bulls ownership was quoted that their goal, and it makes sense. I could see a lot of other owners having this philosophy, is in the NBA to go 500 every year, to have the average over a 5-10 year stretch. So you got to think, some years you're going to do a little worse and miss the playoffs. Some years you're going to do, you know, 5-10 games better, make the playoffs, have a higher seed, and the fans are going to be excited. But if you just have that 500 record, so I mean, I could see, you know, the Wolves saying, as long as we, you know, our average finish for the first 5 years is, which it hasn't been, but, you know, for the first 5 years is fifth place. You're going to have some years you finish, you know, fourth, third, and second, have some home playoff matches, get the fans really excited, like all of us were going into the playoffs last year. You're going to have years like this year where the team doesn't do so hot and finishes, you know, does what they hope for and finishes, you know, in that fifth. Obviously, there's still a lot of soccer left to be played. But realistically, we shouldn't get much higher than fourth based on how far ahead Columbus and Cincinnati are in that second and third spot. And then you're going to have years like, you know, 22 and 21 where we finish decision day and barely scrape into the playoffs. And honestly, anymore, there's no excuse not to make the playoffs, since basically 66% of the teams make the playoffs in the MLS anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. All right, gents. Well, closing thoughts for the evening.
You got it,
Expectations
Marcel.
for the next two games.
I think we covered most of it. Just like we already know, I think from here on out, it's must wins. Like we spoke about earlier, these next few games are against some good teams. We need to show what we're made of. That will probably these next few games. I mean, we got 6 left, so these next few games will probably determine where we're going to end up. Probably in the table.
Mhm.
Yeah, just you got to go out there and win them all. I would really hope that I would really like to see the same lineup again. I would like to keep it going. I think it's been working. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
John?
this week I'd like to see minimum 4 points. I'm very interested to see what Duncan does against Tim Ream, because if you recall that Carolina picked him up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, 3 points on Wednesday, and like I said, a point in Columbus. You can't really complain about with a team of Columbus's overall quality, just players, coaching, everything they have. They've shown that they're the big dogs at the last several years in the East, and we got to go out, put a good showing, put up a good fight, score a couple goals, and hope our defense holds. And if you score 2 goals a match in soccer, you're going to win a lot more than you lose. So
Absolutely.
if you average.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. My expectations are exactly the same. 3 points, 4 points total. For me, a draw against Columbus, and I never say a draw is a win. I would consider that a win for us if we drew against Columbus.
Definitely.
If we were able to win on Wednesday, draw on Saturday, I'd be a happy man on Monday when we speak about this.
Yep. But again, Columbus is basically the same team that they were last year.
Yeah.
So
And-
we beat them. We beat them once last year in that
that's
amazing
it
match.
too. It's is it unbelievable for us to win against them? No. Could we win? We have the talent to do it. Heck, like we said already, it's the same talent. It's just getting your mind straight and being in that mindset to be able to do that. And we might be in a position to do that, because sometimes when you're up at the top of the table and you think you're invincible, guess what? Somebody sometimes shows up and shows you maybe you're not. So
Look how
Yeah,
I would love.
Miami
Let
last
me tell you,
year.
I would love 6 points more than 4 for sure.
Oh, yeah.
definitely. Hopefully they'll rest somebody.
Yeah.
But they're very good. They're very well coached. I think he's the best coach in the league. And they have some players there they got that next man up mentality.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. So thank you to all 29 of you that were watching with us. So on behalf of Misael, John, David, and myself, we'll finish it off like we always say, that we love this cruel and unusual sport that we talk about week in and week out. If you haven't cried for football, have you ever really footballed? So on behalf of the whole team, may God bless you all. And as always, vamos, Orlando!